camera. Turn your camera off. Just give it a second. Turner. Perfect. All right. So good afternoon and good evening to those that have come in from Europe. I welcome you all to my weekly call. It's how to get your first multifamily investment deal. Just a little information about myself. I am Annabelle Pacheco. I am an investor, a real estate broker. I've been in business for 24 years. And I am part of a global real estate company called eXp Realty. Really, the goal for this call is to just pretty much, number one, is share with you guys the steps that I took in purchasing my first multifamily deal. I also like to bring in guest speakers so that they could share really just more about the multifamily space, and we can all learn and just grow, expand our knowledge, and be able to go out there and really do this for yourselves. I encourage everyone to participate, ask questions. This is really a safe platform. If I don't have the answers for you guys, I definitely have the resources and can help connect you with the right person should that be needed. I want you all to know that I'm not selling anything or offering anyone anything on this call. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my story with everyone. And you know what? Hope that you can take from it what applies and do the best you can with it. Just a little bit about my background. I started in the mortgage industry back in the mid-90s. I was doing a lot of refinances at that time. And believe it or not, in the 90s, I was refinancing families at 9.5% interest rate. Okay. So for all of you on this call today who think our interest rates today are so high, they're not. They're really decent and pretty much like they're decent, average, good rates. 9.5%, and I'm sure we talked to people that have been in the industry much longer than I have been. I believe they were refinancing at 18%. So I was doing a lot of refis. I also have purchased over 100 properties throughout my career, did a lot of rehab and flips. I did manage a couple of 2 to 4 units throughout that period, and was very familiar, just became very familiar with that process of rehabbing and flipping. And you just become familiar with the cost of things, and it's just an easy process. In 2001, things shifted a bit for me. The real estate market changed, and I wasn't able to find the opportunities that I had previously, come across. And so I deviated and we built a restaurant from ground up, about 150 capacity, and had a total of about 15 employees, including managers, chefs, and servers. And did that for a good 8 years until I was able to sell the business, handed over the keys, and honestly was probably one of the best days of my life, because if anyone's ever been involved in the in the restaurant world, it's very, very hard, and you have to be passionate about it, and you have to, love it. And I didn't love it, and I wasn't passionate about it. I had invested my money into it, and I needed to just figure a way to get my money back, right, and not lose it. So, but it was a great learning experience for me, and I was able to gain a lot of, I think I'd say like just love and respect for real estate, and realize that there is no better business than real estate. And it doesn't require a huge chunk of money, that we have to invest in real estate to make money. Sometimes, or at the beginning, it really requires, I would say that like equity sweat, go out there and work and door knock or phone calls and try to find some great deals. before you actually have to spend money to make money. So it's definitely, it was a great experience. The last 10 to 12 years, I have focused my business 100% just in representing clients in both the residential and the commercial real estate and investing in multifamily properties. In 2015, I ventured out to purchase my first multifamily deal, which was 34 doors in Grand Prairie, Texas. And ever since then, I have also expanded into El Paso, Texas, part of a group of, I want to say 300 doors in there, Houston, 180 doors, Cleveland, 80 doors, and just recently expanded into the hotel development and parking structure development as well in California. So have grown, you know what, expanding on my knowledge, and really the reason for this weekly call is I'm sharing, you know, what I've done, what I've learned, and really it's in hopes that you guys that are on this call that may have done different stuff, that are involved in different stuff, that you also share it. I mean, you just never know, you know, what connections we can do and what businesses we can possibly do in the future. For me, I was really looking for a way. I mean, after flipping so many homes, and it was just constant turnover, right? And just doing the same thing over and over again. And I was really looking for a way to create cash flow and generational wealth. And I asked myself, right, like how can I make like my money work for us? And here are the reasons why I decided to go the multifamily route. And really, I hope that you guys kind of learn from this and it inspires you guys to do the same as well. So number one, I was looking for cash flow, and multifamily does that, right? And in a nutshell, it's rental income minus all of your expenses is your cash flow. Number two, it was the loan pay down. And I thought, how cool that your tenants are actually paying down your loan, right? Those monthly rents I mean, your mortgage payment and all your expenses are pretty much factored in and paid down with those rents. And then number three, it was appreciation. Let me go back. I apologize. It was appreciation, right? We're buying a property and we're banking that this property will appreciate over the long run. And we've seen some incredible appreciation in these last, right, 3 to 5 years. Incredible. And then number four, tax benefits. An opportunity here where you can depreciate, and which is really just, allows you to expense a portion of that physical structure each year. And then 1031 exchange, which allows you to defer the gain taxes, and there's no limit, okay? As long as you find an opportunity out there for you to be able to exchange into, you can do this as many times as you find doable. All right, so here's a little example of my, let's call it, it's a value add multifamily deal, okay? And I don't know if you guys know what value add means, but I've put the definition of value add, okay? And it's simple. It's a strategy that involves buying the worst property in the best neighborhood. And then you increase its net operating income and the value of the property through the renovation, okay? So this right here, the property that I came across was definitely a fixer, if we want to call it. It was it needed a lot of work. There was a lot of deferred maintenance in this property. And the current owner, there was no way he could keep up with it. And it was just deteriorating, you know, as the days went by. And he was just putting anybody in there to at least collect something of rent, but not what it really should have been. So we came in, we purchased this property for $850,000. which was an incredible deal at that time. And actually, I thought I was overpaying at that time. The market, I had a very good friend who had purchased property out there as well. And he paid probably, I probably paid 50% more than what he had paid for his property. And I really did feel like I was overpaying. But you know what? We went in this for the long haul, and we figured, you know what, this will appreciate in the next 5 to 10 years, and we'll be good. We were really looking for cash flow. And so what happened was that when I reached out to the agent on this property, the agent actually happened to be the owner of the property. And I was a buyer who happened to be an agent myself. So we ended up really just negotiating between us two, and no agent was involved representing us. And I was able to get the seller to do some seller financing for me. And he carried a note for 2 years. And so, why do I say this? A lot of times, if you're out there trying to find a property, always ask if there's any opportunity that the seller would consider carrying a note or financing, a part of the balance, because you never know what their situation is. And I had no clue that I was even going to go this route. I thought, you know what, I had already reached out to some lenders. It was hard because a lot of these multifamily lenders, minimum balance was $1 million. And I was at 850, but you'll find a couple of lenders out there that can do the loan. And when this opportunity came up, I thought, you know what, I'd rather go the seller financing route. It was a lot easier. I didn't have to deal with the stress of just going through the loan process. And it, you know what, it was quick. I mean, it was just a lot faster. And yeah, I had to put down $350,000, but you know what? I was in a position where I was ready. I had saved up. I sold a property. I had the capital, and I could easily do this. And it worked out great for me. 2 years. I had 2 years to remodel, update the units, and increase the rent. And pretty much it was very easy now to go into any bank, right, and refinance and get a loan. Previously, it was not performing, and it was going to be harder for me to get a loan on a property that's not performing, right? These lenders want to make sure that this property is performing before they're going to give you a loan. So by year 2, our property had pretty much doubled in value. Were like $1.6 million, and I was able to refinance at $1 million loan. I was still at a 65% loan to value. I got back all my money. I have zero invested in the property, and today's value of that property is about $2.8 million. So this right here, I just walked you guys through a value add opportunity that, oh, give me 1 second. Is everybody on? Okay, I apologize. Anyway, $2.8 million. Any questions so far? Okay. So I'd like to get a feel for, the callers, or people we have on the call today. Seller financing interest rate. Oh gosh, oops, sorry. I want to say, I don't remember, but it wasn't anything. I don't remember what the interest rate was, but you know what? It was 100% doable. The rents, I mean, we were coming in to fix these units like immediately, like within the first 30 days, we gave notice. The next 30 days, we were already fixing units up and moving people in at a much higher, like 100% increase in rent. So it was all factored in where it made sense. I wish I remember, I don't. Someone says that the screen looks zoomed in. Is it zoomed in? Can you guys not see it, or can you guys see it fine? Because on my end, it looks fine.
It looks normal to me.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So you might, let's see, is it Kevin? You might have your screen, yeah, because it looks fine on my end.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, so let's, and here's here's a picture of the building, 24 units, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and then 10 units, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. Okay. So today I kind of have planned to talk about like how much will a property produce, right? Oh, so let me ask if you can raise your hands, how many currently have multifamily or are looking to get involved in multifamily, like, like really, really considering doing something soon? If you could raise your hands, I want to know, kind of get an idea where we're at. Any idea? Can you put it in the chat? I want to know who I'm talking to. Nobody? Okay. So no one has multifamily? So, got it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. So, I'm gonna, someone needs to be, so someone did you raise your hand because you say you have multifamily? It's an iPhone. I don't have a name. Gustavo, you have a duplex that you're trying to leverage to get a next unit. I think that's perfect. Great. You're doing a 92 syndication deal soon, passive investor. What state is that 92 syndication deal? Oh, nice. Las Vegas. Okay, very good. Gustavo, where's your property, your duplex? Long Beach. Very good. So have you connected with the lender already? Have you refinanced, or are you in the process of refinancing? Or did you do that already? Okay, well, I think, if you've got property and you're leveraging, that's the smart move, right? That's how to grow your investment. I'm setting up an ADU. Oh, okay, very good. All right, great. So let's talk today about how much will a property produce? Okay, and this is just, again, just sharing some of the stuff that I think are important, and really the true value of that investment property is the income that it produces month after month. Okay, and while rents are usually the largest part of that revenue, you cannot forget about other streams of income that this property can produce, okay, which could be additional parking, laundry fees, vending machines, parking, storage units. I have had friends that have built small units, right? Like for these tenants to put in their stuff. I mean, they live in let's say they could possibly live in a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom, and they don't have enough room for all their stuff in their house, that they would be willing to pay an additional monthly, payment for some storage space. There's recycling programs, bike storage. You can charge pet. I mean, if you're going to allow pets on the property, you can charge a monthly pet fee in addition to your deposit. Late payment rents and non-sufficient funds. I mean, remember, we're running a business here, okay? And whatever you think that you can potentially produce additional income for this property, then you do it, right? It's got to make sense. If your property allows for it, then you 100% go for it.
All of 1 hour and 43 minutes.
Can I ask you guys to please mute yourselves?
Oh, good morning.
Mute them. Hold on a second. How do we mute everyone here?
Go ahead and make me co-host, Annabelle.
Okay, thanks. Hold on. You can do that from the beginning,
I don't care. I don't care what you do. Just fill in.
Sorry, everyone. Just give me a second. Okay. I apologize there.
Okay, you're good, Annabelle.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying here, there's multiple ways of improving or increasing the income that the property produces. Okay. So where do you get these numbers, right? There's a pro forma, an anticipated income and expenses, which gives you guys an idea of what to expect, but you really only want to rely on, you rely on them only, okay? It's not like you're going to make decisions based on that. And sellers want to use the high side of what's possible always. Okay, so make sure that you guys do your homework when you are looking at these numbers, okay? Sellers may use market rent. Hold on a second. I think that my presentation is not correct. Okay, well, I think on my presentation, I apologize because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at how much will my property produce. So as a seller, okay, so the seller will give you a pro forma, right? And pro formas are anticipated income and expenses. So a lot of times, and I know that I've covered this many times, is we want to make sure that we're looking at actual numbers when you are looking to get involved or purchase, right? Or put any money on multifamily. So pro forma is anticipated income and expenses. And sellers want to use this always. When they're going to sell, they're going to try to sell their property on the high side of what could possibly occur in this property. So as a buyer, you have to make sure that you guys are doing your homework and that you're actually getting to the actual numbers that that property is producing. Make sense there? I apologize there. I kind of went a little off there. So the sellers may use market rents, right? And very important, yes, market rents work if the property that they have allows for those market rents, okay? And the sellers might also inflate the occupancy rate and increase the revenues. So you guys have to make sure that when you're looking at this, that we're comparing our lease agreements with what they're paying, right, with what's actually being put down on those monthly reports, okay? And as renters move on, you should also expect vacancies along that are associated with lost revenues. Okay, so very important. Pro forma is likely going to be the best scenario out there for a seller, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best deal for the buyer, right? We want to look at historical data. All right, so show me what you have done in the last 3 years, right? Or 5 years. You want to make sure that it's consistent with what they're saying, or maybe it's completely off and they're just giving you, you know, they've been maybe struggling and then all of a sudden, you know, the year that they decide to sell, that previous year, things happen to change. Why did it change? You've got to make sure that you look into that before you get yourself into it. So you want to look at profit and loss statements. Very important. You want to look at rent rolls, right? Which this will detail those rental payments received. And so once you actually are able to review this, then you can determine that vacancy rate. Okay. And it's important that if you guys realize that as you're looking at the numbers, that the turnover or that vacancy rate on the property is, you know, it's high, or you guys have to really pay attention to this, because these are points or little red flags that, like, they're trying to cover something, or you know what, they're not telling you the truth, right? So you got to dig, you got to get all that information. And I mean, are they big numbers, right? Are you losing a lot? Are they claiming a lot, or is it just pretty normal? So you really want to dig at whatever a discrepancy there is between rents due and those that are collected. You really have to pay attention to this. So current rent rolls, you want all months up to and including the closing. Why? Because this is going to allow you to see what that property is producing. Okay. And you want operating statements. This is going to allow you to see what is it costing them to run this property, right? To run this business. You want to make sure that you're going to look at all those leases and you're going to compare the leases that they have with whatever companies, that those numbers are accurately reported on that operating statement. Because again, this is taking away from your income, right? So we want to know exactly what's it costing. And you got to compare, you have to compare all of this with commercial leases, laundry leases, any other service contracts that you have. I mean, all your utility bills, just anything that you are writing a check, or that they are writing a check, and money that they are paying out, those are their operating expenses. Excuse me. Those are the operating expenses, and that is going to reduce what the property produces. Does that make sense? And we really need to get all the information from the owner or from the agent. Let me see. So let me stop sharing here for a bit and kind of just, let's talk a little bit. I don't want to talk so much because I know I do a lot of talking throughout my presentations and I'm always just sharing stuff, but let's hear, I mean, ask some questions. Where are you at in this process? What are you guys doing, or what are you looking to do right now in the multifamily space?
I'll volunteer. I would much rather go in as a limited partner with a smaller group than send my money off to some guys that maybe either don't have a lot at stake or just taking a flat 30% of the deal for finding a market rate investment, you know, something that's already listed. There's a realtor involved. So, I mean, if it's a slamming deal and below market, I don't mind, you know, paying that money to somebody to bring a good deal to investors. But there are literally a bazillion syndicators out there all scrambling for money right now. And they all pretty much offer very typical, it's like a typical return rate of 7-8% cash on cash. And they're all projecting, 15 to 18% total returns over, 3 to 5 years. So nobody knows what the future holds. If we enter a major recession, all those are going to get blown out of the water. Nobody's going to be able to raise rents, and real estate appreciation isn't going to do much. And 8 or 9% on your money may not be that good at that point. I mean, the government itself is paying 9% on I bonds. So anyhow, that's my word. I would love to get in with a smaller group of people and just pay either cash for a property, or we go in and refinance it together rather than give like 30% away.
And so are you looking to buy locally, or are you planning?
Oh, no. No, I'm in California and I have properties in Washington, and I am fed up with the government dealing with my rights as a landlord.
Okay.
My private property rights, I think it's BS that they gave everybody 2 years of free rent. I am now getting paid. I opened up a check last night for $4,000 for one tenant. That's just being lazy. He's a longshoreman that doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
Fully capable.
Well, I think, and I think what you're saying, there's valid truth to that. If you can find that deal, and you have those people around you. I think the hardest part would probably be coming across that deal. And if you have that deal, right, and you can then if you have that deal, believe me, it's very easy to find people to come in with money to buy the deal. I mean, if I would recommend something, is go out and actually find a deal and then bring that deal to the groups, or, the people that you think that you wouldn't mind doing business with, and find a couple people, find a few people there that would be willing to join in. That's probably the easiest and the fastest way. If you actually find, you have access, you're entitled. So I think that if you just kind of figure out, the area that you want to target, start prospecting those people, start calling them up, or even door knocking them, and find a deal. And come to me. I'm sure I have a couple people that would be willing to invest if you're looking to do it on a smaller, scale.
Yeah. Return is return. So yeah. I believe in scale, great to go in on a 200 unit building, but you're jumping on a $50 million purchases.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, right? It's big money, and you got to have a sponsor that's really well experienced and has connections. And there's usually got to be a big capital person in there that's going to get a big payoff for using their credit. So, but return is return,
Right.
And so I'm not opposed to anything. I'm just trying to make up my mind, really.
Right. Well, I can tell you, 7 years ago, I would have never done a syndication. I didn't know enough about it. I didn't know anything about it. And I was a solo, just a solo person, and wanted to do it on my own. Wanted to have control. I didn't want to give my money to anybody else. And what I have learned just being in the business and becoming much more familiar with the syndication, it's a way to scale and to, these syndicators, and the few that I am connected with are individuals that I trust, that I know, that I've done work with. I will tell you, they continuously are being brought great opportunities because they've kind of worked their way in this industry. They have purchased a lot of properties and are known by these, they're known by the agents, right? They're known in and even in the area where they're buying, they've bought not 2, 3, they have like 2 or 3 buildings, and then there's more buildings all around that they know that they're a good management company, they're good buyers, they're serious, and they're bringing deals to them. we don't, like, I don't have access to that. I can't, I just don't have that access. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how do I make this work for myself? Yeah, I'd like to invest because you know what? They're value add opportunities. If they're telling me that they can increase rents by $200, that's huge. That's huge for me. And I love value add. I've lived it personally and I know how it works. And I don't mind doing it, and I don't mind investing $75,000 or $100,000 and I don't have to worry about anything. Yes, maybe I could get $100,000 and put it where right now, prices are, if you're going to buy 20, 30 doors and below, it's just so much competition and the prices are so high. It doesn't make sense. You really have to go to the 2 to 300 door, right? There's less competition. They're getting, I got involved in a deal where they're paying like $68,000 a door. Where can you find that? So you know what? There's a few numbers. I do the math. I'm like, you know what? It just doesn't make sense. I'll put money in and I don't have to worry about it. And it's just, you know what? It's there.
How, I'd be interested in hearing from anybody that's gone in on a syndication and the projections were just flat out wrong. Has anybody had a bad experience with it? I'm curious.
Yeah. Anybody on this call that's been involved in a syndication that would be willing to share? Nobody? Nobody's involved in a syndication or nobody wants to share?
Well, nobody likes to admit failure, but I'm sure there's
units, San Bernardino, Riverside, 4 to 20 units for an investor on top of the opportunity for myself. Okay. Bobby Burns says Grant Cardone, non-accredited fund.
So it's like a small entry level.
I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Gross put in like $5,000 in one of his non-accredited funds. That's if you want to put money into that. Let me see here.
Cap rate versus cash flow. Somebody had a question on that.
You focus on the cap rate or mostly on the cash flow? Well, I think both are important. When I purchased, I was 100% looking for cash flow. For me, it was just, let me go in there, rehab, increase the rents, and start making this property cash flow because it was not cash flowing at all. But I think cap rate is also very important. We need to know what we need to know, and everyone should know what the cap rate is on any deal that you're going in. So I think, really multifamily is a great, it's a great opportunity to really begin creating wealth. However, I think I have learned that the more I get myself involved in this, I've learned that if you really do want to scale, that you do need to partner up with others. And I think you need to find that person that you can trust, right? That person that you feel comfortable with, that you kind of align with. And that obviously they have a record, right? That they've done property. You get referrals. And I've talked about this in other calls, you get referrals and you want to know how they perform their business. Like, what do they do? I've asked questions sometimes that have been somewhat uncomfortable, very uncomfortable for the other individual, because they're like, you don't trust me. And it's like, it's not that I don't trust you. It's just, I don't know you and I'm getting to know you. And I want to know based on what I've asked them to provide me with, I want to know if they'll give it to me. And if they give it to me is because they're being transparent. Okay. So I think that you have to feel comfortable. You have to feel you got to feel confident and that you guys align with whoever it is that you're going to invest. Okay. And one of my goals really, and even when I do this is, if any of you are ever interested in investing in, like being part of a syndicating group, I have access to those groups. And if you're interested, let me know. We can set up an appointment. We can, I can connect you guys with those individuals, and you guys could learn a little bit more about how they work, what they do, and possibly even that deal. If there's a deal that they're working on right now where they're trying to raise funds for it, well, you guys can take a look at it. So I think that that's really the most important thing, is just connecting, talking, and making sure that those individuals provide you with whatever it is that you need, so that you feel comfortable giving your money to them. Right? It's not an easy thing, but at the same time, not everyone gets an opportunity to invest in these deals. There are some great opportunities out there, and if you don't know the individuals, you'll never be invited, or you'll never be given that opportunity. So, all right, any other questions? So Kevin, I think, if you're looking to invest in syndication, maybe we should talk. I can introduce you to a couple of the partners that I have, and talk to them. We could set up a meeting, talk to them, get to know them a bit, right? What they do and how they work, and
That'd be great.
And if you feel comfortable, then you can invest. Let me put your info on the chat if you can, and then I'll save it as well. Any questions? Come on, guys. This is for all of us here. Is it Michael? Michael.
Yeah. So I'm actually not based in the United States. I'm based in Estonia, which is in Europe. But I'm interested in the U.S. real estate market, and right now I don't have the funds to invest in multifamily. I actually don't own any real estate. But do you have any advice for getting started right now, or maybe a few years from now? What is the strategy that I should be taking right now, so that I don't know, let's say 5 years from now, I could start investing in bigger deals that you guys are talking about right now?
So you said you don't have any real estate at all?
No. I'm living
okay.
at home with my parents.
Well, that's fine. That's good. And you're looking to invest in the US, not in Europe.
Yeah. I'm just interested in that market.
Okay.
Because I'm considering moving to Europe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and are you looking to, I guess let me ask you this. Are you looking to jump in what's your background on multifamily? Do you have any?
The only experience I have with real estate investing is my parents own a few small apartments that they rent out, but no multifamily.
Okay. So and you would be looking to get involved in syndication, joining, putting your money into a group, or are you looking to just kind of go solo on your own?
I think the more realistic option would be to I don't know, probably start with a small investment in a syndicate to learn a little bit.
Okay. And so if you do that route, I think a couple things that you have to keep in mind. There's different types of syndicating groups. So there's the accredited syndicating groups, and then there's the non-accredited syndicating groups. So the accredited syndicating groups require that there's a couple guidelines, and I know one is that they require that you have $1 million in assets that's not your personal, your primary home, or your personal, where you live, right? So you'd probably fall within the non-accredited, which is okay. It's just a different fund, how they do this. And what I can do is I can connect you with some of the investors that are doing these non-accredited funds. that you can talk to them, because I really believe that you need to start talking to these investors or these syndicating groups and just kind of get a feel for them, right? Before you put any money in, just get a feel for them, see what kind of projects they've done, right? Where have they bought? When was the last time they bought? And kind of just see their performance. You want to see all of that. And they have no problem sharing, there's like, they have the, they're called like memorandums. They have no problem sharing or giving you that for you to review, for you to look at, their projections of the property and kind of where they're at. I mean, if they've already closed on a deal. And I would just recommend I would say connect, and I can connect you with some of those, talking to them, join and do a lot more of these multifamily meetups or Zoom events, and just connect and meet with other agents. But I think that's great. You look really young. How old are you?
Just graduated high school. I'm 18.
Oh my gosh. If you start now, man, you'll be doing great in the next 10 years. So are you going to college?
Yeah, most
Okay.
likely. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll put your information on the chat, like your email, phone number, all your stuff, and then I will connect you with some syndicators that are doing the non-accredited.
Right, sounds good. Thank you.
Good job. Thanks for joining. All right. So let me make check out Grant Cardone. Do you know who Grant Cardone is?
Yeah, I've heard like conflicting opinions about Grant Cardone.
Yeah. I think that you should just check out what he does, because he's very, public, and he shares, there's a lot of data, a lot of information. And I would say check him out. That way you have some sort of a base, right? A foundation. Mm-hmm. And then as you talk to all these other investors, you'll know, like you'll get it.
Yeah. Right now I'm listening to like the bigger pockets, like Brandon Turner's, like the
He's
book
awesome.
on rental property investing.
Yes, he's amazing. Yeah. He really is amazing. So, all right. So let me make sure that, so Jess, can you do me a favor? Can you email me Michael's info and also Kevin's info?
I think Kevin direct messaged you his, but I can send you Michael's.
Oh,
I don't think
sorry.
So. Okay. I don't even see it.
I direct messaged somebody. I'll put it back into everyone.
Yeah, you didn't do it to me. Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. If you can email me that would be great. And then I'll connect with both of you. All right. Well, listen, if no one has any other questions, then I will say goodbye. Thank you, Michael, for chiming in. Thank you very much. And I hope that I can share, connect you with some individuals. And Kevin, we'll definitely talk. And if there's anything you guys need, feel free to email me and connect with me. And if I don't have the answers, like I said, I definitely have the resources, and I can connect you guys with whoever it is that we need. I host this call every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What time is it for you, Michael?
It's right now, it's 52 minutes past midnight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm going to sleep after this.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And
I'll make sure to mark it on my calendar.
Yeah, wonderful. And I also have, please follow me on YouTube, subscribe, because all of these calls are recorded and uploaded up on YouTube. So subscribe to that. And if I can be of any assistance to anyone, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address, I believe you guys have access to it from the registration. So I look forward to talking to everyone. I look forward to seeing you guys all next week, and have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.